Okay, we are live. At least we should be live. I hope that you guys can hear me. Hope you guys can see me. All that good stuff. Let me just hold on 1 second. I got my new light. I think it's working pretty well, to be honest. So, I think we're doing pretty good. Let me know if you guys have a preference for the type of light you want. We got one. We got this weird yellow. We got blue. I think we're going to stick to that one, to be honest. But let me know if there's a preference that you got. All right. We are live once again. Let's talk about Freemasonry. Nam, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. I hope that you're doing well. We got some hearts. I'm guessing that's Smokey the Clown. Thank you, Smokey, for being here. I hope that you are doing well. Today, I don't know if, depending on what you may or may not have seen, if you got the chance to watch my YouTube short, I'm going to be talking about my Masonic highlights 2025. And not only my Masonic highlights, but some of the things I learned from those highlights and how I think that those lessons can be applied to either my personal Masonic journey, your Masonic journey, or who knows, maybe just life in general. So let's give it a few minutes. Let's wait to see who joins. Please take a moment, though. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for being here. I hope you're doing very well. And let's give it a bit of time. Actually, I think honestly, as you can tell, I'm not in my. There we go. Sorry about that. I think that this light is pretty decent. Let me know what you guys think of the new lighting system I got going on. That counts though, Nam. Gooey, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm definitely not a pastor though. Unless pastor's on, I'm a Freemason, not a pastor. Nam, that does make me happy though, because one of the things that I'm hoping that this channel can do is promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located. But that also means people who are not themselves Freemasons getting a chance to potentially learn more about Freemasonry, learn more about what it is, learn more about my experiences in it. Not necessarily because I care about people joining or not joining. It's more about I'm just interested in people learning more about it. So maybe your Masonic highlight for 2025 is, in fact, this channel and YouTube Lives. Nothing's wrong with that. There are many Christmas parties where there are women and alcohol. Parties would be a lot less fun without women and without alcohol. It just depends on the jurisdiction. Some jurisdictions, their lodges are dry, which means they don't serve alcohol in the building. Some will have Christmas parties that are exclusive for members and not involve families. It just really depends on the lodge itself and what they want to do. I'm the worst person to talk with about that. CNAR 8437. For what it's worth, my advice is always don't worry about approaching girls or approaching women. Just focus on finding things that you enjoy doing and then, focus on that and improving yourself. And then the rest, I think, kind of takes care of itself. That's my advice. So, for example, let's say you love I don't know. Let's say you love playing, you love bowling, join a bowling league and, focus on that. And then maybe you'll meet somebody who also is in the bowling league who likes to bowl and you have something in common. You take it from there. Could be darts, could be poetry. Maybe you enjoy composing poetry. Join a creative writing circle. You'll maybe meet somebody that way. Just focus on yourself and doing the things that you love, and good things will come to you. That's my advice. No woman, no alcohol. That's a part. Every party is valuable in different ways. But I mean, Christmas parties are very often meant for families. They're meant to celebrate. They're meant to be merry. They're oftentimes they have kids involved where they'll do like a Christmas party for the kids. They'll have Santa Claus. It just depends on what the lodge wants to do. It can be something as simple as a Christmas cookie party to as complex as a full banquet with a visit from Santa and everything in between. It's not a bad, that's not a bad idea, Namroth. I mean, I follow the news because of my job here on Square and Compass Promotions. I need to know what's happening in the world because I've said it a million times. I'll say it a million more. You cannot separate the success of a Masonic lodge from or the condition of a Masonic lodge from the condition of the community in which it's located. I need to watch the news to know the conditions. But that doesn't mean you should become addicted to the news. I think a lot of people struggle with that. Well, I don't think they have either of those people appointed as supreme beings. I would be very concerned if someone said their supreme being was Denzel Washington or Steve Harvey. Bob, do you like Jesus the Christ? Jesus is King. I'm not Christian myself, but there are many Freemasons who are. I would say Christianity is probably the most prevalent or most kind of well represented religion within Freemasonry. It's not the exclusive one. Again, we have Masons of all different religious beliefs and backgrounds. Certainly, I admire Christianity and all it's done for the world. DJ Bob, please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the stream. Everybody watching this, let me know if you have any Masonic highlights for 2025. I'm going to be sharing with you my Masonic highlights. I'm going to be using every stream to share a different highlight. This first one, I'm probably going to talk about my trip around the world, literally around the world. Sure, Nam. I mean, I don't have a specific higher power the way others might. I always say that my higher power is the best way to understand it is it's the rational nature of the universe as explained through math, geometry, science, things of that nature. Um, by the way, uh, Smokey, if that's you there, don't forget we still have to do our 20, still have to do our live stream together on the 29th, but I believe I'm going to go onto your YouTube channel. So I hope that you will let me know when you can. Send me a link so I can go onto your YouTube stream together. I don't know what time it'll be on the 29th, but it should be a lot of fun. It doesn't have to be a religious figure. It has to be a supreme being. How you define that supreme being, Nam, can be, it very much depends on the brother. If you're an avowed atheist, then yes, you cannot join. But even then, you can join Freemasonry, just you have to join a liberal order. But doesn't have to be a specific religious figure per se. Hello, Paul Lemons. I love visiting as well. Thank you for being here. Well, it depends on what's happening, Bob. So, for example, we may be meeting to discuss how we maintain the fraternity. Administrative meetings is what it's called. So that could include, um, but not limited to, correspondence, business meetings, not business, we don't do business, correspondence, minutes, um, paying, fixing the building which you have, organizing special events, celebrations, Christmas banquets, brethren who are sick, brethren who are ill, all of the administrative components necessary to maintain a fraternity, to maintain a group, to maintain a club. And then on top of that, we have our ceremonial meetings, or you can call them ritual meetings, degrees, where we are bringing new people through the craft. At its core, Freemasonry is all about fulfilling the human desire to belong to something greater than oneself. It's no different than when you're a kid, you create a clubhouse or have a boys' night out. It's just a more formalized version of that that's been around for centuries and will be around for centuries more. I do not know what Sanguru Sadguru is. What is good? I'm in Canada right now. A lot of things are good, including the fact that you're in Canada right now. If you're in Canada, things are going very, very well because Canada is the greatest country in the world. So, welcome. Which car is good? I do not know. I'm the worst person to talk to about cars, hard worker. What I am is somebody that is asking you to hit that like and subscribe button. We're 2 subs away from 3,140. Yes, Lucifer underscore light. I am still online. If you want to help me stay online, do a super chat, just 99 cents. Share this video, share this stream, hit the like and subscribe button. What do the ceremonies feel like? That's a really good question, Bob. I know it's not the best answer to say everybody, it feels different for everybody, but it does. I mean, whenever it comes to the ceremonies or rituals, I always give first the most, I know a general statement, but it's important because there's so much misinformation, conspiracy online. The rituals, there's nothing in the rituals that's illegal, there's nothing in the rituals that's dangerous, there's nothing in the rituals that is contrary to religious, civic, moral, etc., responsibilities. How it feels, I mean, I can tell you how it felt for me, which is it felt that I was being connected to both the current, past, and future brethren. It felt like I was being brought into something, and by performing or being part of the ritual, I was joining the same stream, the same group. I was creating bonds of brotherhood through a shared experience. Some will describe it in more spiritual terms, like Chuck Dunning. I don't really talk about it in that manner. Um, I never felt that way per se, but everybody gets a different feeling from it. And that's one of the beautiful things about it. That is legitimately one of the beautiful things about Freemasonry is that everybody has their own feelings. But I would say for me, I felt like I was becoming connected to something bigger than myself, which is a really wonderful feeling. Um, you do not walk on hot coals. Baltimore, yes, I can smell in 4K. I can actually smell in 5K. So what you should do in honor of my super spelling ability is hit the like button and the subscribe button. Um, yes, my maternal grandfather was a Freemason. Okay, my maternal and paternal grandfathers were both Freemasons, which is really cool. It's always fun and wonderful to have those family connections. You don't need to have them. There are many Masons who join who are, for the first time, they're the first of their family to be a Freemason, which is awesome. But many join and actually have those familial connections as well. Lumivera, you look evil cartoon character, but I'm not evil. I'm very friendly, so I'd be the good cartoon character. Lumivara, please hit like and subscribe. Good Freemason. What is the best? What is the best part of your Christmas? Was it the people you were with, the food? What did you most enjoy about your holiday season? Rituals are always subjective with an objective outcome. So that's one way to put it, Lucifer underscore light. I would, I'm definitely not the leading YouTuber, Nam. There's a lot of YouTubers who are doing a lot better than me, but I am growing, and so that makes me happy. But you should support them all. Roundtable is great, for example. I would say rituals are always um, um, it's a consistent ritual with an individual interpretation, is maybe how I would put it. Kit2937, you're my favorite subscriber, so please hit like and subscribe. Awesome. Rosicrucianism, it's actually very connected to Freemasonry, an excellent organization. I hope that you find, happiness and I hope you enjoy being a Rosicrucian. Are there any Norse pagans? I'm assuming you mean Norse pagans within Freemasonry. Not that I know of. I've met a couple Wiccans, Wiccan, in Freemasonry, but no, nobody at least who describe themselves as Norse pagan. The Wiccan, Wiccan. Again, that may be applicable. That may count as a kind of pagan, I suppose. You can leave at any time, Jonathan. Many Masons have left for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they leave because they move, they have other commitments. Sometimes they just find out Freemasonry is not for them, which is completely fine as well. There's a million reasons why people may choose to remain within Freemasonry or may choose to walk away. Family and friends, that is awesome. Monkey, that's a name, monkey crap. Do you gain power through rituals? I mean, I would need to know more in terms of how you define power. Like, not in any, like, I don't know what you mean by power. So you certainly don't. If by power you mean, like, do you get rich? Do you get famous? Do you get influence? Do you get, I don't know what the, like, no. And anybody who tells you that by joining Freemasonry, you will get any of those things is either scamming you or just wrong. So that's not what Freemasonry is about, nor do you get any type of, maybe you define as spiritual power. I think there is not a power per se, but there is benefits to taking part in Masonic ritual, and each individual kind of feels their own benefits to it. Some, it makes them feel more connected to the people around them and their family. Some, it gives them a new perspective through which to understand the world and to examine the world. Kind of when you go through any experience, right? You gain a new perspective, new ideas. It's kind of like coaching, right? When you're learning how to play a sport, you have a coach. The coach may drop some wisdom about the game that you're learning to play that you can then apply to your day-to-day life. Freemasonry and our rituals are the same thing. Like, one thing that I learned from Masonic rituals, and something I've always struggled with and still struggle with, is temperance. I'm not the most temperate of fellows. What that tends to mean is when things are going well, I tend to get very excited. When things are going badly, I tend to get despondent. I have a hard time remaining kind of calm and even keeled. Freemasonry has helped me do a better job at I'm trying to think of the right word, has done me do a better job at not getting too excited when things go well, nor or presumptuous would be the term, or despondent when things go poorly. And so that's, a type of power in that I better understand things. So there's that. We're Freemasonry, we're not submitting to King Solomon. We are not submitting to, it's not what Freemasonry is about. It's not about quote unquote submission. Um, I mean, Freemasonry, King Solomon might not even have truly existed. He probably did, but he could be a myth or mythological figure. Is there a buffet at Lodge? Do you get like food? You do get food. That's another benefit. Every Masonic Lodge has what's called a junior warden. The junior warden is responsible for ensuring that there is food either before or after lodge. Some lodges prefer to eat before, some lodges prefer to eat after. Kara, bro, welcome. Didn't miss anything. It's great to have you here. Am I still an initiate? I am a Master Mason. I'm third degree, which is the most important degree. I'm also 18th degree Scottish Rite. Craig, there is no truth to the online rumors I had to sacrifice my legs to the Freemasons over a disciplinary action. I have no idea where that's coming from. Good to know that people are saying that about me, though. I've not read the Four Agreements of Toltec Wisdom. We may discuss spiritual ideas. It really depends on I'm trying to think of the term. It really depends on what the lodge wants in terms of education. So sometimes the lodge at a administrative meeting may set aside 30 minutes and say, okay, we're going to do or longer or shorter, we're going to do an educational presentation, an educational discussion. And they may discuss any number of different aspects of Freemasonry, from the history of, let's say, the ancients versus the moderns, to the meaning behind certain rituals, to more spiritual ideas, to more quote unquote practical ideas like the best way to hold a Masonic banquet. It really depends on the lodge itself and what they want to focus on. Where is this Reddit? Who is saying this about me on Reddit? Um, what is the time? It's 1:23 Eastern Standard Time. What is a rank structure, Dragon Slayer? By the way, please hit like and subscribe. Oh, like rank is in kind of like the military. There's not really ranks in Freemasonry in the same way. I'd be hesitant to look at it in those terms. The better way to think about it is degrees and offices. There's 3 degrees within Freemasonry. Um, Entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. That's in your craft lodge. After that, you can become an officer in a Masonic lodge, and there are various offices that have various responsibilities, but the highest ranking office, if you want to use that term, is worshipful master. Then there's appendant bodies. They have their own degrees and their own rank structures as well, or officer structures. But primarily, the way to think about it is the highest rank within Freemasonry is the 3rd degree Master Mason. The highest office in Freemasonry is Worshipful Master. Maybe I do, maybe I don't monkey crap. I'm not going to say whether there is or is not a secret handshake. What I will say is there are modes of recognition, and those remain private. I serve as the administrative coordinator. I don't know what the administrative coordinator is. I've never heard about it. Never heard of that. 5 a.m. Saturday here. Okay. Dragon Slayer, welcome. Tell us something. Dakota, please hit like and subscribe. Um, Mr. Works, 33rd degree is not the most important. That's not how it works. There is no such thing as the most important. Every Mason is on the level. Every Mason is equal. I would say 3rd degree. If I had to define most important, I would say 3rd degree. But even then, it's better to think about Freemasonry as equality first and foremost. Um, Nathan, well, fair enough, Nathan. If that's what you think, I still hope you hit the like and subscribe button. Mohammed, I'm talking about Freemasonry. Hello, Vin. Welcome. 33rd Scottish Rite. Um, what's the difference in rites? Oh my gosh. Really, it's a historical, traditional thing and a ceremonial thing. The kind of shrine was primarily started as a rite that focused on fellowship, brotherhood, banquets, and charity. Scottish Rite, sometimes it's referred to as the University of Freemasonry. It kind of expands upon the philosophical um, kind of teachings of Freemasonry. York Rite, which really was one of the major sticking points between the ancients and the moderns and their fight in the 17th and 18th centuries. Really, in some ways, it's an expansion on the 3rd degree, but also it has a lot of kind of its ceremonies and rituals are kind of developed from Knights Templar ideas. It's got a more militaristic feel to it, a more chivalric feel to it. Really, a lot of times where people go depends on the majority of the lodge. So I joined Scottish Rite because the majority of membership in my Masonic lodge was Scottish Rite. So, um, welcome, Ryan. Thank you for being here. Shriner and Past Master 2023. Welcome. Thank you for joining, Ryan. I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know if you have any. I'm going to be talking about my highlights, but let me know if you have any Masonic highlights from 2025. That's something I'm always curious about. I believe in a supreme being. I'm not Muslim myself, Muhammad, but we have many Muslim Freemasons, and they're a wonderful part of the craft and a wonderful part of Freemasonry. Mr. Freemason, that's right, 81. Rams, I'm glad for, well, I mean, I'm sad that you joined at a dark time. I'm sad that you joined while you were struggling, but I'm happy that the lodge gave you a sense of hope. Sometimes the best thing you can do when you're struggling is find people to be around and to be around them. That's right, 81. I don't think the devil will come for me, but what do I know? There are many clandestine lodges. They're growing. I'm not one who gets really concerned about clandestine lodges. Godspeed. To me, there's plenty of sand in the sandbox, so long as everybody's admitting, like if you're not a recognized Masonic lodge, or if you're a liberal, whatever it is, just, be honest with your initiates about the recognition status of the Masonic body to which you're joining. Um, DMED. Would it make a difference if I was a Jewish Mason or not? Freemasonry welcomes men of all different faiths, ethnicities, backgrounds, religions. Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, indigenous, spiritual, like me, don't necessarily have a particular religious belief. I was just in Edinburgh, Godspeed. I was just in Edinburgh. I love Scotland. It's a beautiful, beautiful town, beautiful country. Um, you're boring and it's just interesting, but you're still here. I will if you hit the like and subscribe button, Christopher. Um, no, monkey crap. No, we do not. We do not do that. Well, that's a huge issue, Ryan, and you're not wrong. I mean, when I say I don't have issues with clandestine lodges, look, I have no if if some dude for whatever reason really loves um I don't know, like he sees the Masonic symbol and he really loves it and he wants to start his own clubhouse. And so he goes and he gets a sign and he says, John Smith's clubhouse, and he puts it on his garage and he hangs out with his friends and they all drink beers and maybe they create some kind of rituals or whatever. So long as you're not hurting anybody, so long as there's nothing illegal or dangerous, whatever, you know what, go to it. I'm not gonna judge you. Freemasonry, at the end of the day, Freemasonry started because some guys decided to start it. So it's not really fair for me to tell others they can start their own thing. The danger is A, when they are pyramid schemes, and many of them are, or B, when they tell the people joining that they're recognized Masonic lodges. Because what happens is they join a clandestine lodge, they go to travel to another Masonic lodge somewhere, and they find out they're not recognized. And one of the greatest aspects of being a Freemason is the ability to travel, is the ability to visit, is the ability to sit with other brothers from around the world. So just be honest about whether you recognize or not. And that's one of the reasons I always give advice to people interested in joining Freemasonry. When you are looking at joining a Masonic lodge, one of the first questions you should ask is, are you a recognized Masonic lodge and which Grand Lodge recognizes you? And if they say we're recognized by the Grand Lodge of Texas, you should then take the time to call the Grand Lodge of Texas and confirm. Um, I have a black belt in karate. Good for you. That's awesome. What degree? I'm not really working on any degrees at the moment. Eventually, I'll probably move up and get my 20th, my 19th degree and up in Scottish Rite. But right now, I'm working on square and compass promotions. Well, handy Randy, even if I'm brainwashed, that should not stop you from hitting the like and subscribe button. I mean, I might be crazy, but I'm not crazy because I'm a Freemason. I'm crazy from way before joining Freemasonry. If anything, Freemasonry has been a mitigating factor on my craziness. I am not a math wizard, nor am I a tree wizard. If you know, you know. Um, I've never sold my soul, nor have I ever sacrificed anything, children or otherwise. I've just sacrificed a lot of my time for whatever it's worth. Yes, Ryan puts it right. Approach the lodge and well, but I would actually, sorry, Ryan, I have to disagree with you slightly. Um, I would not approach the lodge and ask for a petition or an application at the start. Give the lodge a chance to get to know you and you get to know them. Approach the lodge and just express an interest in joining or an interest in learning more and talk about why you're interested in joining at the same time, why, what questions you have. Let them get to know you, grab some coffee with them, go out to dinner with them, whatever it might be. Like, get to know them better. And at a certain point, once you feel you've got to know them well, and once they've got to know you and your family well, that's when you ask for an application. Because at that point, you should potentially already have a couple brothers willing to sponsor you. Um, well, you're not wrong. So I can't pronounce your name, Jamal876. But there might be a reason I'm not telling you everything. Any thoughts as to what that could be? Um, I try to be a good man. So actually, I've done a bunch of meetings in Tennessee. I love it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with asking for petition right away. It's just, to me, having the petition kind of puts the cart before the horse. Just get to know the guys first. There's always time to apply. There was a time in Freemasonry when the focus was on, as soon as somebody knocks on the door, they get two sponsors, they get a petition. I'm not speaking of Tennessee particularly, I'm just speaking of Freemasonry in general. Most Grand Lodges are really pushing against that now and are encouraging a fairly significant length of time from when someone first approaches the lodge to when they get the application, and from when they get the application through to when they actually become or admitted to Freemasonry. Um, well, Jamal876, there is no child sacrifices in Freemasonry, nor is there any adult sacrifices, just sacrificing of time. However, I can tell you why there are certain things I don't share on stream. I cannot walk the walk because I have no legs, 81 Deuce. I can't walk at all. And this is the example I've used a million times. Let's imagine Jamal 876. Let's imagine you have a family recipe that was passed down from your grandparents to your parents to you. You're going to pass it down to your kids. You're not going to share that family recipe on the internet. Not because there's anything nefarious about your grandmother's chocolate chip cookies or anything evil. Rather, you're going to do so um, because maintaining the privacy of that recipe is the way you maintain the bonds between your past, present, and future family generations. We within Freemasonry, yes, we have rings, we have coins, we have pins. That stuff doesn't really matter. What matters ultimately is our ritual. That's what we pass down from past to future generations. And if I start to share our ritual and tell people everything about the ritual on stream, it limits the bonds we have between our brothers, between the present, past, and future brothers. Also, and equally as concerning, not every ritual is the same. A lot of people think Freemasonry is the same everywhere. It's not. So if I talk to you about my Masonic ritual and what happened during my initiation, you may join a lodge with certain expectations, and expectations comparison is the thief of joy. You are not going to be fully present during your initiation ceremony because you're going to be waiting for whatever I said to happens. And if it doesn't happen, you're going to feel disappointed and let down. Right? I don't want anybody going into a Masonic initiation with any preconceived notions. I want them going in not expecting things to happen, but just being willing to kind of accept what is happening, focus on that, learn from that. It's almost like spoilers, but in some ways it's even worse because it's one thing if I give you spoilers for a movie, you might be upset, but at least you know what's going to happen. In some ways, would be even worse if I tell you things that are going to happen in a movie. You go see the movie, and a completely different thing happens. Now, in your mind, you're comparing what you thought was supposed to happen to what did happen. you don't get the same enjoyment out of it. At the end of the day, to a certain extent, joining Freemasonry is, as all the best things are, a leap of faith. A leap of faith. When I tell you that there's nothing within Freemasonry that is illegal, that is dangerous, that is against one's moral, civic, employment, familial responsibilities, at a certain point, you just have to rely upon your common sense and a certain degree of faith to understand that is the case. Um, I'm telling you, it's like somebody spoiling a movie for you, then deciding based on the spoilers you want to see the movie, and then the spoilers turn out to be incorrect, and you're disappointed. Um, Eliyahu, welcome. Been a little while since I've seen you. Welcome back on the stream. Yes, don't read ahead. Be present. I mean, honestly, presence is one of the most important things we have in Freemasonry. It's one of the most important things we have in life, and one of the areas that we very often fail on. We are so busy thinking about what we think should happen, we fail to enjoy what is happening around us. Um, well, I think God loves everybody, right? Or the Supreme Being loves everybody. I think that's kind of the point. Um, to my knowledge, not being a religious fellow, um, I don't know if God loves Solomon or anybody else more than any other individual person. Well, they should not be lighting people on fire. That sounds like a clandestine lodge. But if something did happen like that, they should call the police. Um, there's somebody, I just heard somebody above me. I don't know what I heard exactly. It sounded almost like somebody fell. I don't hear anything else, though. I think they're okay. I don't know. I thought I heard something above me as well, but I think they're okay. Didn't sound that loud to me. Well, I mean, so Dixon, so Ryan, 770, Dixon. I mean, I don't think Freemasonry is ever a waste of time and money. Well, I'm trying to think of how to put this in the right way. Yeah, I hear somebody running above me. Freemasonry is not for everybody. Not everybody is going to enjoy Freemasonry in the same level and the same way that I do. Just like not everybody is going to enjoy my favorite song as much as I do, right? Energy and time are an expense, Dixon. You're absolutely correct about that. Um, so I've given this example before. Once again, forgive me for chewing my food twice. My favorite song is Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. It's the song I love the most. My second favorite song is Blacktop Mojo, Prodigal. Now, but the point is, Dixon, you can listen to Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. I can listen to Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. Um, Ryan, Trent is cool. You can all listen to the same song as me. Some of you may love it. Some of you may hate it. Some of you may think it's okay. At the end of the day, I love it because it's something about myself. When I say Freemasonry is a leap of faith to a certain extent, it's like listening to a song for the first time. You're taking a leap of faith that you may love it, or it may be 2 minutes of your life that you've now wasted because you hated the song. You're taking a leap of faith in that you may or may not enjoy it. I do think there are some people who join Freemasonry, and you know what? It's just for whatever reason, they don't get the same sense of feeling and enjoyment that I get from it, that other active Masons get from it, that Ryan gets from it, which is perfectly fine. But even then, I wouldn't say it's a waste of time and money because at least they know, right? It's always the possibility of somebody is sitting there thinking to themselves, I want to join Freemasonry, but I might not enjoy it. I don't know what I want to do. Yes, there's, the couple hours that you spend in your initiation ceremony. There could be anywhere between $500 to who knows how much it costs to join for that first time. But at least if you join a recognized regular lodge, you can now know whether it's for you or not, right? And for people like me, for people like probably Ryan, who I've been a Mason for 20 years, spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of expenditures of blood, sweat, and tears, literally. Not the blood part, literally, but not even the metaphorically blood, sweat, and tears, not literally, metaphorically, literally money and time. Um, it was even when it has not been enjoyable, it's been enjoyable, right? Even when the meeting hasn't gone well, even when there's some crisis or some pain in the butt to deal with, or the lodge is struggling, it's still something that is just a part of me and part of something I love. So I don't think Freemasonry can ever be a waste of time and money. I think some people join, decide it's not for them, and then move on with their lives. But even then, I wouldn't call it a waste of time or money or expenditures. I'd say you still learn something about yourself. And for me, despite the stress, the challenges, there's something that I can't help but love when it comes to Freemasonry, and that keeps me coming back. Well, that clandestine group should be going to jail, so somebody needs to call the police. Um, well, they don't want your money at the start. Like anybody who, if you're applying to join Freemasonry and the first thing they ask you is for money or for dues, then it's almost certainly a scam lodge and you shouldn't join it. I talked about this under my Masonic scams portion. No Masonic lodge that's legitimate will contact you and promise that you can join based on how much money you have or based on a payment, right? The money should be the last thing discussed because first they should go through the process, get to know you, talk to you about your belief in a supreme being, why you want to join. They should go through every process, vote on your acceptance, and once you've been accepted, that's the time at which they should start to talk to you about dues. Anybody who says, pay money and you're automatically accepted, that's not the way it works. Um, you know, you can have $10 million dollars in the bank and be declined admittance. You can have $50 in the bank and be accepted. Um, the dues and the fees are the last part of the process, not the first. Yeah, that is a relatively inexpensive lodge. I mean, Ryan, I do know of lodges that are as little as $40 US and per year, and my current mother lodge is 175 Canadian per year, so about 150, 140 American. I've heard of lodges that are as expensive as $500 US per year, but that's very rare. Um, some would say we're probably too inexpensive with their dues, but that's a discussion for another day. Otto Lidenbrock, welcome. Thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. Do all Masons believe in a different higher power? Not really. They're just going to say you're no longer a Mason. I mean, but even then, what you can always do is you can always just choose to demit, which is you don't think you can afford your dues, so you just send a message saying, I'm very sorry, I can't afford to pay my dues. What they will do in some cases is forgive your dues and just say, okay, you don't have to pay until you get back on your feet, or um, they can offer you benevolence or a payment plan or whatever it might be. Or you may just leave for a while and come back later. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either, and that happens very often. Sometimes it happens because of financial reasons. Sometimes it's time. You just don't have the time to dedicate to Freemasonry. Sometimes you move away, whatever it might be. I do not know what the families are toward Denver of which you speak. Um, there's a lodge, so $25 a year. That's incredibly inexpensive. Um, Mohammed, I don't know what blood right means. So Adam asks, do all Masons believe in a different higher power? I mean, I would say primarily when it comes to the supreme being, you can quit, Mohammed. When it comes to the supreme being, I would say it tends to just work out to whatever the proportions are in your community. So let's say you live in a community in which it's 75% Christian, um, 10% Muslim, 5% Jewish, 5% Sikh, 5% spiritual, but don't have a particular religious background. Then within the Masonic Lodge membership, 75% will be Christian, 10% will be Muslim, 5% will be Jewish, Sikh, whatever it is. If you're in a community where it's primarily indigenous or First Nations individuals, same thing. The majority of your lodge will be indigenous. If majority Jewish, majority Muslim, I would say it kind of works out to whatever um, the predominant or usual kind of religious or spiritual beliefs are in your community. Having said that, there is no requirement that every Freemason believe in the same or in a different higher power. Every Mason has his own beliefs, based on, could be his family, could be something he came to on his own, could be culture, could be tradition, right? However he developed those beliefs. I am not a Cowan. I have no issue with Cowans, which is sometimes referred to as non-Masons, so long as they don't try to get the secrets. I don't know. I mean, I said blood, sweat, and tears, but metaphorically, I haven't literally given any blood to Freemasonry. Actually, that's not true. I donated blood. I'm a blood donor, and a lot of times Masons have encouraged, including in Windsor, encouraged blood donations. We do blood donation days. So in that case, I guess I have given my blood to Freemasonry. Not to Freemasonry, to people who need it, but as recommended or encouraged via Freemasonry. Owning properties, that's one way that Freemasons can absolutely keep the dues low. Um, Sometimes, Dad, not always. I want to be careful about that because there are some lodges that are in themselves financially in trouble and just don't have the money to cover dues. That can happen as well. Just depends. Just depends on the lodge itself. Um, but as a general rule, many lodges are willing to help cover the cost of a brother's dues or provide a payment plan, benevolence, whatever it might be. Awesome. Freemason. That's fair. Yeah, and that's a lot of Masons. That's what they do. That's how they help their brothers out. They donate to benevolence fund to help brothers in need. Dragon Slayer, thank you for being here. Please hit the like and subscribe. Don't forget, on December 28th, 2025, at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be showing an episode or premiering an episode of Square and Compass Promotions with brother Julian Reese, winner of the 2025 Arcana Veritas Distinction Awards. You get free meals. Well, some lodges, actually, what you have to do is every meal, you put in like a set amount, like $5. Some lodges it's free. In my lodges, it's free. So it's either before the lodge or after the lodge. I've joked, but it wasn't such a joke, that without Freemasonry, I would be, I would never eat a vegetable because being a bachelor, I'm reliant on the lodge to feed me. Oh my gosh. Well, that's fun. I hope it goes okay. Masonic trials are never fun. Hopefully everybody can, relax and cooler heads can prevail. Depends which lodge you're in, Handy Randy. You don't have to pay for the food in my lodges, I can tell you that. Windsor 403, Border Cities 554, Harmony 579. In some lodges in England, you do. At the end of every meal, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, we have, the meal cost $100. We have 10 Masons here. Every Mason pays $10 and guests eat for free. So it depends on how the lodge functions it. But usually in those cases, um, very often what happens is um, the annual dues are lower because the meals are being paid for out of pocket. Well, Mohammed, I don't know how that would work. Because if you quit, then you can't get the food. You have to be a member. You have to show up to meetings to get the food. I suppose you could come to, if you wanted one meal, you could go through the hassle of becoming a Freemason, apply, pay your dues, go to a meeting, get a meal, and then quit, but then you won't be eligible for any other meals. So it would be both a very expensive and time-consuming process by which to get a single free meal. Um, well, Ivan Green, whether I'm gay or not, you should still hit the like and subscribe button. How about that? And thank you, everybody, as always, for being here. Please take a moment to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are over 3,100 subs. When my goal was to get over 3,000 subscribers this year, so I'm actually 143 over. Um, Also, we have received this lifetime 10,000 watch hours lifetime, and we have got very close to my 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months, which is needed to get ad revenue. So thank you for helping me turn my passion for Freemasonry into profession. Ryan, if you want to help support the channel, aside from liking and subscribing, you can always do a super chat. You can share this with your friends, with your brethren, all that good jazz. Yeah, somebody above said, obviously as a troll, this is my favorite LGBTQ channel. This channel is about Freemasonry. It has no sexual orientation. Having said that, Freemasons welcome men of, you can be gay, you can be straight, you can be a Freemason. Because of that, I always say it doesn't matter my sexual orientation. What matters is for this channel that I'm a Freemason. Well, he would be a free space Mason, Muhammad. He would not be a free no space Mason, put it that way. Pharmacist Vlad, please hit like and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it, and I hope that you are doing well. We're going to give it a few more minutes. We're just going to see who else joins. Let me know, by the way, Courtney, Ryan, do you have any Masonic 2025 Masonic highlights? Not a huge fan. And a big thing that people don't realize about Manly P. Hall is a lot of stuff he wrote before he was a Freemason. Like I can never remember the name of the book, The Secret Teachings of the Ages. He wrote that like decades before he was ever a Freemason. So you need to keep in mind, just because somebody says they're a Freemason or writes about Freemasonry, that doesn't mean they're automatically a Freemason. In the same way, just because someone's wearing a ring, well, clandestine, right? Like, hold on one second. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, he was initiated as a Freemason into Jewel Lodge in number 374 in San Francisco on June 28th of June 1954. And he wrote The Secret Teachings of All Ages in 1928. So he wrote that about 20 years before he was initiated into Freemasonry, at least officially. That's not to say he may not have been hanging out with Masons before that, but he was initiated until about 20 years after the fact. Joshua Johnson, I am a Freemason. I've been a Freemason since 2007. It's crazy to think how much time flies. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for being here. I think I mentioned my name was Cameron, but my name is Cameron. So he was not. He was I mean, if he was also a scammer, right? The Leo Taxil hoax, which unfortunately the Catholic Church kind of fell for. Um, um, right? It was both to mock Freemasonry and the Catholic Church's opposition to it. So I don't know if he was a Freemason or not. He may have been a Freemason and then decided to make fun of it or create the hoax. His name was Mary Joseph. So um, Mary Joseph, I forget his full name. Mary Joseph something or other. Mary Joseph Gabrielle, I think. Happy Friday, belated Festivus. Shay 1930. I can tell you it would not exclude you for me. I would be happy to sit in lodge with well, I mean, I'm part of the fraternity, so somebody who was born, assigned female, but identifies as a man or transitioned to male. Every jurisdiction has different rules on that, Shay. I will say this, my favorite rule as it relates to trans men or trans members is from the United Grand Lodge of England, which put out a policy, I believe, in 2018, which basically said whether you are trans or, you know, if you are, a trans member of the community and wants to join the fraternal side of Freemasonry, then you are welcome to join. No different than if whether you are cis or trans, the process, the application is the same. I think United Grand Lodge of England got it correct. Not every jurisdiction has that rule. I know it's different in Texas, for example, but that's my opinion. I think UGLE got it right. The other option is you can look at joining the liberal orders of Freemasonry or even co-Freemasonry. They're not recognized by, for example, a regular lodge. That doesn't mean they're not part of the Masonic family nonetheless. And, I just talked to, for example, Julian Reese, who's a member of a co-Masonic lodge. He was a member of UGLE for decades before joining Le Droit Humain, LEDROIT HUMANE. Um, I do not know what Baphomet is, but I don't think there is a trans god. I don't think they have. I don't think that's how it works. I think transgenderism is. I always look at it as a medical condition slash identity, um, or even identity might be the better way to look at it, which may require medical interventions. It's not a religion. I don't think they have a god. Scotty Vango. I don't think that's how it works. What about no Freemasons are sacrificing their children? They're sacrificing their time. So he was full of nonsense. What about Albert Pike, Scotty Vango? Albert Pike is one of those people that if Freemasons know about Freemasonry because they're Freemasons, non-Freemasons know about Freemasonry through Albert Pike, and a lot of the information they get is incorrect. So, and we're not ruled by reptilians either. There is no single ruling body within Freemasonry, reptilian or otherwise. Freemasonry is jurisdictional. What that means is there's different leadership depending on where you're at. No one leader is any more powerful or any more legitimate than any other. So the Grand Master in Ontario is the highest rank within Ontario, the highest level, the highest authority, but his authority does not extend to, let's say, Tennessee, which has a different Grand Master. J. Edgar Hoover was a Freemason. That is true. I will say that. The rest of the stuff, I don't know anything about. So Shay, I'm a fan of the United Grand Lodge of England's policy. Personally, I think that's the best policy. It's the one I would, implement around the world if I could, but I couldn't because Freemasonry can't implement policies around the world for Freemasons. It can simply, it can exclusively implement policies within its jurisdictions. There's liberal orders of Freemasons. It's called liberal. It's really, I mean, it's not officially called liberal. People just call it that because it's more liberal in its membership, in that you also have co-masonry, which means masonry for men and women. You also have some orders that allow for atheists to join. It's not recognized everywhere, again, which is okay. One of the beautiful things about Freemasonry is this umbrella term that can apply to a lot of different orders and groups and organizations. Um, there's always more to learn about Freemasonry. That's one of the most beautiful parts of it. That may be true YW33, but many different religions have had figures that are meant to represent both genders or both sexes. Yes, imagine I got a big nose. Please hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I do not know what a Minecraft villager makes, but I'm hoping you can hit the like and subscribe button. So I've never heard of that, Shay. What I will say is, in my experience, Freemasonry welcomes Catholic members. The Catholic Church may have its own issues with Freemasonry, but that's separate from Freemasonry itself, which I've known many Catholic Freemasons over the years. So none of that is true, Scotty. Not every historic figurehead is a Freemason. In fact, I would say the vast majority are not. There have been historical figures, some very important historical figures. George Washington, who was a Freemason. That does not mean every historical figure was, or even the majority. Um, there is no magic. I think when you say Karbala, you meant Kabbalah. It's not how it works. King Eyre. Welcome, King Eyre. Please like and subscribe. There are many Masons who, like I said, I've known many Catholic Freemasons. I do not know what Carrie is, but please hit like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Well, again, he may have been part of a different order of Freemasons. As a general rule, like the Freemasonry, it's called regular Freemasonry that I'm a member of, still does not allow atheists. Although I will say the term supreme being is so, as a general rule, so broadly or liberally, even if you want to use that term, defined, that people who may, in some cases, be considered an atheist by others could still join. Well, I don't believe in magic at all. I believe in illusionists like Siegfried and Roy, whatever it is. I don't believe in magic, literally. Unless you want to talk about it in a very metaphorical sense, the magic of brotherhood, the magic of friendship, the magic of kindness, the magic of charity. Um, but that's metaphorical. I don't literally believe, for example, magic as in like Harry Potter style magic. Do you know your grand architect? I think I know my grand architect. Every time I look in the sky at night, I see the stars. I think I see the image of the grand architect. Freemasonry lunch was kind of bourgeois fraternity. It had certainly a bourgeois quality to it, but not on purpose. It's simply because throughout history, for most of history, the idea of leisure time, actually having time to not worry about work, eat, and sleep, it was, and you needed leisure time to take part in Freemasonry. It was not something that was available to the vast majority of people, right? The vast majority of people would not have had time, never mind the money, to join a Masonic lodge or to take part in meetings or ceremonies. They were basically working, from sun up till sundown, stopping exclusively to eat food and sleep. And because of that, the one group of people who did have the time to focus on Freemasonry and to attend meetings and such were actually, the richer class, the nobility, their aristocracy. As a consequence, it got this illusion of being quote unquote for the richer bourgeois. Well, I don't think I'm a reptilian, Mohammed, but of course that's something a reptilian would say. Welcome, King Ire, once again. I don't think my grand architect is a reptilian either. To everybody who's just joining us, thank you so much for being here. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I hope everybody is doing well. Don't forget, on Sunday at 6 p.m., we have another podcast episode being released with Brother Julian Reese. We also have coming up very soon a some exciting things coming up, including 4,000 watch hours, 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months, which is going to be awesome. And the next few days, from now until the 31st, or probably January 1st, going to be talking about my Masonic highlights. I'm just going to wait until we get a couple more people potentially joining to talk about it. And I'm not going to talk about every highlight every day, but rather just one or two per day. Yeah, when people talk about Freemasonry and they say, um, when people talk about Freemasonry and they say, it evolved from this philosophy or this ideology or that philosophy or that ideology, I always point out the main, ideology from which it grew ultimately was, first stonemasonry and stone Masonic guilds, but secondly, it was through, Enlightenment era philosophy. Voltaire was a Freemason famously, although he joined Freemasonry 1 month before he died. But Ben Franklin, George Washington, Condorcet, Diderot, all these guys who were Enlightenment era philosophers and thinkers were themselves Freemasons. Mohammed, you've been watching my streams. I am 42 years old. I have parents. We all have parents, though my mom passed away, and I have a cat, but no wife. So you're close. I would say one of the main reasons. Yeah, one of the main reasons. Voltaire may not have been a good guy, but I liked a lot of what he had to say. I can't speak for his personal life. We're going to give it a couple more minutes. Then I'm going to be talking about my Masonic highlights. Now, by the way, if you want to actually see firsthand for yourself these Masonic highlights and what I'm talking about, then may I suggest you follow me on social media. You follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/square and compass. Square underscore and underscore compass underscore promotions. You follow me on Facebook. You follow me on X, because I post pictures from all my different highlights therein. He was. It's crazy to think it took him 1 month. Well, I mean, in fairness, Voltaire was friends with Ben Franklin. So if he's good enough for Ben Franklin, he's good enough for me. I am third degree Master Mason, which is the degree that matters. I'm also an 18th degree Scottish Rite Mason. Um, so yeah, that is my degree, Enduro Bros. Awesome. I don't know if you're new to the stream or not. I feel like you are new to this stream. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Consider sharing the stream with others. This is my efforts. My goal is to turn Freemasonry, turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. Adam, do I have a spirit animal? Um, I'm not. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the term free spirit animal because I think that's more an indigenous practice. So it would be like me saying I'm not a Christian, but I have a relationship with Jesus Christ or something. It's not really my religious practices per se. Having said that, I'm always interested in learning more about indigenous practices and beliefs, including spirit animals. Actually, um, oh my gosh, now I gotta find it. I found once. Let me see if I can track it down. Um, yes, here it is. Now I got to track this down so I can find. I once translated oh, here it is. The word in the Mohawk word for Freemasonry translated, or sorry, Freemasonry translated from English into Mohawk, but now I can't find it anymore. If I can, I'll do it in a couple seconds. See if I can track it down. Oh, here it is. The literal translation was "they love each other." All right, if I can track it down at some point, I'm going to. You're doing an admirable job. Thank you. It is not always the easiest. Let's see. Could it be this one? Okay, let's try this. Well, it translated as "they love each other" was the literal translation of I think it was the Mohawk word for Freemason. So I can't find it. If I can track it down, I know it's somewhere. I'll share it on the stream. I thought it was really, really cool. It's just hard to track down at the moment. All right. Listen, son, quit Freemasonry, join Islamic path. Well, I don't want to quit Freemasonry. I have great respect for the Islamic faith, but I don't want to join the Islamic faith either. I will say, I don't know if your approach, Muhammad, is going to work so well. It doesn't seem to be bringing anybody towards your beliefs. But hey, you do you. Um, okay. Freemasons, in my opinion, are people of righteous reputation. Well, I think we are. I mean, I hope that we're righteous, maybe not in the spiritual sense, but practically, I think the things that we do are righteous. We do try to help people. We do try to build a better world. We do try to um, create a better world for those around us. All right, Mohammed, you're getting a little bit annoying. By the way, happy Kwanzaa to everybody who celebrates it. Unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. We celebrate the strength and resilience of those celebrating Kwanzaa. Islam is an accepted belief within Freemasonry. I've sat in Masonic lodges, welcome Ben Green, with many Freemasons who are of the Islamic faith, who are Muslim. I understand Freemasonry is actually fairly popular in Morocco, in a cool side note. So, it should be right. Freemasonry should welcome men of all different faiths, beliefs, backgrounds, ethnicities, languages, for that matter. Freemasonry is not a religion, but every Mason will have his own belief in a supreme being. I don't disagree with you in that, people should never think of Freemasonry as being a religion, but it welcomes men, and women for that matter, but men of all different faiths and religions, as well as those who are like me, who are more spiritual, perhaps, but not literally religious, but have a spiritual belief, if you want to view it that way. The YouTube algorithm, I like pinto beans and golf. What you should like is hitting the like and subscribe button. Yes, I wouldn't even use the term God. I would use the term supreme being. But yes, you must believe in a supreme being um, of some sort. So, however, whatever it is, everybody kind of will come to their own understanding of it, and they could come to their own understanding of it through family, through culture, through their own faith journey, um, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, Talking Masons, Jambo. Um, so hold on just one second. I was in Dubai. I'm going to talk about that in a second, Mohammed, actually. I was in Dubai, which is a city in the United Arab Emirates, where famously Freemasonry is actually outlawed, or it's not allowed. And I remember going there and I was being nervous because I had a Masonic patch on my wheelchair. I had my Masonic dues cards with me, including a Masonic dues card from Israel. And I remember thinking to myself, um, you know, since Freemasonry is outlawed in Dubai, should I hide my Masonic affiliations? Should I not bring them with me? I had my dues cards with me. I had my Masonic patch. It never came up at any point. It was a wonderful country to visit. I absolutely loved it. The little I saw of it, I basically stayed in an airport hotel. But customs was super cool. The people were super cool. So I guess what I'm trying to say, my point is, um, you know, we as Freemasons should be respectful of the countries in which we're traveling and visiting. And if Freemasonry is not allowed in a country in an organized sense, then so be it. But But wherever I travel, I would not hide the fact that I'm a Freemason. I would not have meetings in a country where Freemasonry is not allowed. But hopefully, by existing within that country, and while I'm there demonstrating demonstrating kindness, respect, that I'm a good person, maybe people who have a more negative view of Freemasonry will start to look at it in a different way. And as a consequence of that, maybe one day bring Freemasonry to that country. Who knows? It'd be really cool to see. Awesome, Ender. I believe in a creator as per the Mason tradition, as do I. Hello, Spirit of Justice. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. Danny, um, this is all about Freemasonry. I mean, if you're talking about from professional wrestling, from Can-Am, then yes. I have a personal YouTube channel as well, where I talk about things not related to Freemasonry. Sometimes I talk about professional wrestling. I usually just post clips of things I enjoy, things I like talking about. So, Danny, well, maybe YouTube knows something you don't. Like maybe YouTube knows how awesome I am, and that secretly you enjoy my channel. Please hit like and subscribe. Honestly, Courtney, I don't know if the hotel did because so what happened is my flight arrived around like 9 o'clock at night, and my connecting flight was leaving like 6 in the morning. So by the time I got through customs, all that jazz. So I go through customs. I'm outside the airport, or not. I'm in the airport, but outside of the like arrivals and departures area. So I'm like in the country. I'm through customs. I go to with the help of a porter who is very kind. I go to the service desk for Emirates, and I say, "Look, I've got the layover hotel, which is a free service. They offer you a hotel for free, which is very nice of them." But anyways, they're looking at it and they tell me normally you'd have to get on a shuttle, go to the airport, but what we'll do is we'll let you stay in an airport directly in this hotel. It's easier to get to your flight tomorrow. It's through security. So then I go back through security. I'm, you know, the hotel is on the other side of security, which is awesome. I go, you know, I get about 6 hours of sleep, wake up the next morning, go right to my airplane. So the point is, I did not get a chance to see if they had breakfast or not because I had 6 hours of sleep, then I was back on another airplane. But they did have coffee and tea in the room, which I thought was very nice of them. It was a really fancy hotel, so it was a really cool room. I've talked about it before. The part that I loved the most about about the travel and the hotel room was looking up at the roof of the ceiling of the room and seeing an arrow pointing, I guess would have been west, and realizing that was an arrow pointing towards Mecca, the direction of prayer. So just seeing that, it reminded me of like, hey, I'm in a new country, I'm in a new place. I'm somewhere where you're not going to see that in Canada. I thought that was really cool. So, 67 is not Freemasonry. Jambo, my faith, I don't believe in any particular religious faith per se. I believe that the best way to understand the supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through geometry and science. We don't even believe in a creator who designed everything per se. You can be a Freemason who believes in a supreme being, but also believes in kind of science and evolution. It's complicated. It's a journey and a decision and a path that every Freemason has to make for himself or herself, for that matter. Um, I think many different religions offer the forgiveness of sins. I know a few different Kellys from Windsor. I don't know which one you're referring to, but if you're referring to um, Kelly for wrestling, then yes, he was on my channel on my personal YouTube channel years ago. Um, why would that be the case, Uncle? Because let me ask you a question. Let's imagine, I'm not saying we should because it's a wonderful part of the craft, but let's say we got rid of the 33rd degree in Freemasonry. What would happen to Freemasonry? Right? Freemasonry would continue. It would continue to exist. There's no requirement that the 33rd degree exists within Freemasonry, and in fact, for 99% of Masons, removing the third degree from Freemasonry would not change their Masonic journey at all. They would continue on. They'd be part of York Rite. They'd be part of the Shrine. They'd be part of Craft Lodge. They'd be part of the 32nd degree. It wouldn't make a difference. If, however, you got rid of the first three degrees in Freemasonry, the craft degrees, then Freemasonry would cease to exist. So the point is, this overemphasis on the 33rd degree, it's silly, and it ignores the Masonic journey of 99% of Freemasons, including 99% of Masonic leadership. Most Masonic leaders, in my experience, are not 33rd degree Masons, and they're the ones making the decisions. Um, they're the ones making the decisions for Freemasonry within their particular areas or area. It is not, nor should it, Ben Green. Freemasonry and religion are very different. They have different goals. They have different they perform different functions for an individual, right? A religion is ultimately about a promise of salvation and an understanding of spiritual things that cannot be understood in other ways. Freemasonry is a civic institution. It's about the way we within a community interact with other members of the community. And to a certain extent, Freemasonry is also a civil institution in that it does impact the way we interact with government officials, things of that nature. Religions are religious institutions. They are both recognized differently under the tax code as well as just what it's trying to do for an individual. I would never want any Freemason to treat Freemasonry as a substitute for his or her, but his own personal religious beliefs and understandings. And anybody who joins Freemasonry looking for religious experience is ultimately going to find themselves disappointed, at least in my experience. Mohammed, not everybody can see this, but Mohammed's asking me how many wives are you allowed to have? Well, Freemasonry doesn't give you any statements on how many wives you're allowed to have, but I will say within Freemasonry, we are reminded, taught, encouraged to, not even encouraged, but required to follow the laws of the country in which you live. So, since I'm Canadian Freemason, I would be allowed to have one wife because that's all the law allows, as it should. I don't have any wives. I have a cat, so I don't think that's an issue for me at the moment. Just for the record. We do not, Gooey. I've never met a Mason with multiple wives. I mean, anything's possible, I suppose, in countries or places or religious traditions where it's allowed. You may have Masons with multiple wives. I've never met any Masons with multiple wives, though, is what I can say. And it's not, at no point has any Masonic teachings ever talked about having multiple wives. Honestly, my suspicion is most Masons don't want multiple wives. Most Masons are having trouble enough keeping one wife happy with going out to lodge night after night. They maybe don't want to have more than one. That's cool for the Islamic religion. I've met many members of the Islamic faith. None of them had more than one wife, so I don't know if that's true or not what you're saying. But what I will say is that's not a Masonic concern one way or the other. In Freemasonry, the concern is to be a good man and true. That you could argue if you had to pick a particular, and this goes back to the Anderson constitutions, if you had to pick a particular religious belief, or not even religious, but you had to pick a single statement that defines what Masons quote unquote believe is the ultimate good, it's to be a good man and true. I mean, I celebrate Christmas. I believe in God. I believe in a supreme being. Yes, spirit of justice. I agree with that. It would be multiple headaches. You celebrate Christmas culturally, traditionally, because it's just part of um, it's part of my culture, part of how I grew up. We are a brotherhood. We are not a religion. That is true. Freemasonry is not a religion. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, and I'm finally going to start talking about one of my Masonic highlights from 2025, which would be literally my trip around the world. I guess technically not around the world, almost around the world. Um, Actually, I'm curious now. Okay, so hold on. How many miles? All right, I'm going to do a quick math calculation. Thank God for calculators. So the Earth is 24,901 miles. I, let's see, minus, hold on, calculator, 285. All right, so 24616. All right, let me just do this quickly. I promise you this is going to make sense in a second. So, how do you determine percentages again? What's the thing for percentages? Percentage calculation. All right. Freemasonry, I don't know if I just describe Freemasonry as godly per se. I don't know if I use that term. All right, here we go. 24616, percentage of 24901. $60. That's not right. Freemasonry is godly. I have friends. I mean, people may regret joining Freemasonry for a variety of different reasons. A lot of times it comes down to Freemasons not doing a good job of adequately describing what Freemasonry is before they join, which can happen. And they may have joined, for example, thinking thinking that they were joining because um, it was religious in some way, which is very possible. They may have joined thinking they may have just joined thinking it was something it was not. And sometimes that's the fault of the Masonic Lodge for not doing an adequate job in explaining what Freemasonry is before they join. But I said this earlier. It's also about that leap of faith. And unfortunately, because to a certain extent, joining Freemasonry is a leap of faith. What that means is sometimes you just have to take the risk that you join and it's not for you. And that's okay as well. But maybe it's better to join anyways. At least learn what it is so you know what it is, as opposed to, being curious, being interested, but choosing not to join for whatever reason. Then you'll always be wondering, always be questioning it for whatever it's worth. Is there a ritual where the trouser leg is rolled up? Maybe there is, maybe there's not. I don't talk about specifics of rituals. What I'll say is if you want to learn that stuff and you want to know for sure, you got to join. Um, right? You got to join, and then you'll find out. What are clankers? Having said that, I know the clampers are um, um, the clampers was actually a fraternal group that came out of California. And I want to get them on the podcast at some point. They're a really interesting and fascinating group. So, yes, there are no human sacrifices. It might make the meetings more interesting if there were human sacrifices, but there are not. And it'd be such a pain in the butt. Like people don't think they'll say like Freemasons are committing human sacrifices. Do you know what an absolute pain in the ass it would be to have to, have human sacrifices? Like the cost of cleanup alone, the amount of money you would spend, washing your washing the carpets would be absolutely insane. Um, well, I think your friend joined a fake Masonic lodge because that does not happen within Freemasonry. Um, Clanker is a new, funny, derogatory term for AI and internet bots. I've never heard that before. That's a new one. Yes, Stroll to Camp is right. Somebody joined. I mean, they might have been lying to you, or they just joined a fake Masonic lodge or a clandestine Masonic lodge, which is possible as well. And that is one of the dangers of clandestine lodges, where they'll tell you they're performing true, quote unquote, Masonic rituals and ceremonies, but they're not. They are lying to you. Um, we're going to give it another couple of minutes, and then we're going to be starting on the topic of my Masonic Highlight 2025. By the way, if anybody watching this, if you have any Masonic highlights from 2025, please let me know. Positive, negative, or I mean, in some ways, a negative highlight. If there's something that really didn't go well for you this year, and you want to talk about that, that's great as well. Because, um, in doing so, maybe there's things that you learned from it. A negative experience doesn't remain a negative experience if you can learn something from it within Freemasonry or otherwise, and potentially, grow from it or grow within it. That North Pole, that does not happen within Freemasonry. I've never seen it in 2,000, over 2,000 Masonic events and meetings around the world. Um, I do not know what that library is, Jambo, so I guess not. No. Mohammed, you've been watching a lot of my stuff, but I think I have to put you in a bit of a timeout. You're kind of being a little bit of a challenge lately. So let me just put you here in a timeout for a few minutes because it's not your conscience. All the stuff that you're saying, I've said on stream dozens of times over the years. Well, just because you heard of something doesn't mean it's true. One of the biggest challenges in Freemasonry right now is people hearing things that are nonsense. you need to be really careful that just because you hear something on stream or on social media doesn't mean it's automatically true. The Nag Hammadi refers to a collection of ancient Gnostics, an early Christian text discovered in 1945 near the Egyptian town of Nag Hammadi. I will check it out. Never heard of it. Um, using, I mean, using the lessons of the working tools is always using the lessons of Freemasonry, whether they be the working tools, the rough ashlar, the perfect ashlar. I'm going to try to get this a little bit more centered. I feel like I'm not quite, I feel like that's better. Um, whether it be the working tools, whether it be whatever it might be, the mosaic pavement, the square and compasses, the rough ashlar, the perfect ashlar. I think all that stuff can be incredibly helpful to one's Masonic career and to one's life in general. And it helps remind you not to get bothered by things like the inequality of man or the inequity of man, I should say, not the inequality, excuse me, the inequity of man. Vegas athletics baseball, we do not. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I hope that everybody watching this is doing well. We are, let us see. Well, I don't know what the term clan is, but yes, we keep our clothes on. I am not living in Las Vegas, airline_pilot. I visited Las Vegas on one occasion. One of the coolest things about Freemasonry is you can travel, to almost any city, including Vegas, and meet up with your Masonic brothers. I was there for basically a night and a half. I loved it though. It was really fun. I don't know if I could live in Vegas, to be honest. I think it'd be really challenging to live there, but I enjoyed the visit. Airline_pilot, please hit the like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Consider doing a super chat of just 99 cents. Yes, for us, it is very often difficult to decide what we want to eat. Well, Windsor, Ontario, Canada. I was born and raised in Winnipeg, currently live in Windsor, Ontario, and I love it. I've said it a million times. Canada is the greatest country in the world, in part because we have the greatest neighbors in the world. Actually, I've been doing this for 1 hour, 43 minutes. Let's give it another 15 minutes. We'll go 2 hours in. Then we'll start talking about the. Do I have snow outside? Not right now. I have rain outside, but Winnipeg, Canada, you need to understand Canada is such a big country. Like, my poor dad has a ton of snow where he is. I'm sure they do have a ton of snow in Alberta, Saskatchewan. Here, we're so far south, we tend to not get a bunch of snow. We tend to get a bunch of rain and usually just a couple snowstorms per year. But right now, we got like very freezing cold rain, which is a pain in the butt, by the way. I mean, there's a lot of social groups within Freemasonry. The lodges themselves can form their own social groups. Um, where like maybe a lodge forms a committee for special events and forms a committee for some type of celebration and forms a committee for education, and those can kind of produce their own social groups. But within Freemasonry in general, there's a lot of social groups that kind of form. Freemasonry is inherently a social endeavor, though, and one of the cool things about that is, about 2 years ago, the Surgeon General of the United States put out a white paper talking about an epidemic of loneliness and reminding people that one of the greatest health risks that individuals can face, we're talking about faith so much, FACE, one of the greatest health risks that individuals can face is um, is being alone, being isolated, both health risks in terms of your mental health and physical health. I remember one of the stories being, or not stories, but one of the stats I read. If you have, let's say, a heart attack, um, a heart attack or a stroke, and you're in the hospital, you are, if I recall correctly, 2 to 3 times more likely to have a secondary health event or to pass away if you get no visitors than those who receive visitors. So, the social component of Freemasonry is incredibly important. It also, there's some evidence that it helps push back against dementia or other diseases of aging, things of that nature. I remember you, Victor. Thank you for being here. Um, I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you had a great Christmas and you're having a great Boxing Day. I do celebrate Christmas. I mean, I'm not a Christian per se, but I certainly, Christmas time is a great time of year. It's one of those things where when I was younger, and I still do, by the way, but when I was younger, I loved Halloween, and Halloween was my favorite time of year, and Christmas was number two. As I've gotten a little bit older, I've tended to enjoy Christmas more and more. Still love Halloween. Still think Halloween is incredible, but I also really love Christmas now. Freemasons celebrate Christmas. I know many Freemasons that celebrate Christmas, some may be celebrating Kwanzaa today. By the way, happy Kwanzaa if you are celebrating it. I know some that celebrate Hanukkah, some that celebrate Ramadan. I guess observe is a better term than celebrate. So, people celebrate various different religious or spiritual traditions. You as well, Courtney, and thank you so much for being here. Let me know, by the way, leave a comment on a video. What was your Masonic highlight of 2025? I'd love to hear it. I don't know what is. Kwanzaa is a celebration. Let me actually get what exactly it is. It goes from December 26th to January 1st of this year. It's an annual celebration of African American culture, culminating in a communal feast called Karamu, Karamu. It was created based on African harvest festival traditions from various parts of the West, East, and Southeast Africa, first celebrated in 1966. There are 7 candles which symbolize the 7 principles, which are unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. So, to all who celebrate Kwanzaa, I guess today's the first day, it goes till January 1st. Wishing you a wonderful celebration. There's a hit song called Omolo by. I don't want to get. I appreciate that, but I'd rather not get copyrighted if I could help it. All right, we're going to just wait a couple more minutes. Wait to see who hits that like and subscribe button. I hope everybody watching this is doing well. I hope you're having an excellent day. Coming up, don't forget on the 28th, I've got an episode being released with Brother Julian Reese. And then that's at 6 p.m. We're talking about the tracing boards within Freemasonry. So check that out. Let's just give it a couple more. I'll check it out on my own. And then if I enjoy it, maybe I'll even see if I can get the musician on stream. Who knows? Could be kind of fun. What's 23? It's 2:54 here if you're talking about time. All right, let me just. So 23 hours is in 11 at night would be 23. For me, it is 2:55 p.m., almost 3 p.m. I've been streaming for just about 2 hours. It's been going excellent, as always. I want to talk about my Masonic highlights of 2025. And I think the first highlight I want to talk about is my trip around the world, or at least 98% around the world, if you consider going from Chicago, Illinois to the Philippines, Manila in the Philippines, followed by Dubai, followed by Rio de Janeiro, back to Toronto. Peter, I have never had to sacrifice my legs to the Freemasons. I do not know where that is coming from. I mean, I kind of wish I did have to, because now it would make me way more interesting. But whatever makes you guys happy, if that's what you so choose to think. It does make things seem more interesting, I suppose. But Freemasons are not, I was born missing my legs. All right. But who knows? Maybe I'm going to end up getting like a lot of views because people are going to want to know how it came to be. Please hit the like and subscribe button. No, Jake, I do not worship an owl. If I did worship an owl, maybe my life might be more interesting. I think you're referring to Moloch when you say worship an owl. That's not what Freemasons do. Freemasons are not, it's not a religion, so there is no, Masonic religious deity, owl, or anything else. hold on one second. I'm just going to try something. If this, for whatever reason, doesn't work, hold on just one sec. I think that should work. Okay. All right. So, oh, I'm live. All right. Sorry if that cut out for a second. My Christmas was great, Dream Seeker. How was yours? I hope it was very well also. Bert asks, I'm going to see if I can show this. Is Freemasonry a quote unquote man's club? It's not. Freemasonry is not a man's club per se. It is a fraternity in some ways. There is a fraternal aspect to Freemasonry. So my lodge, for example, it's exclusively men. However, there is also within Freemasonry the Order of Women Freemasons, there's Eastern Star, there's Rainbow. So it is not exclusively a it is not exclusively a man's club. Freemasonry helps everybody. It's a benefit for everybody, and in many ways, it's for everybody, for every kind of community member. It's a civic or civil organization, civic primarily. I'm not a big fan of guns myself, so I very much hope Soviet Union that if you did get that, you're being careful, you're treating it carefully, you're treating it respectfully. All that good jazz. Following, take courses, take safety courses, whatever regulations there may be, you follow them. I don't know what licenses are required. I don't know how it works in your neck of the woods, but just make sure you're being careful and respectful of it. All right. So as I noted, going through my Masonic highlights of 2025, in June of 2025, June 8th in particular, I had the pleasure of, like I said, traveling around the world, or at least 98% of the world. I went from Windsor, Ontario. I took a bus to Chicago. I spent a few days, or actually just one day and one night in Chicago. Then I traveled to the Philippines, to Manila, Philippines. Well, if you join the military, that's different. That's the military. So good for you, Soviet Union. I've traveled through. I traveled through Seoul, South Korea. So traveled to Chicago, flew to Seoul, South Korea, then flew to Manila, the capital city of the Philippines. From Manila in the Philippines, I flew to Dubai, and then from Dubai, I flew to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And from Rio de Janeiro, I flew back home to Toronto. So overall, it was about a week and a half trip, 9 days altogether. I was away. So it was a quick trip. It was a quick stop in Chicago, a quick stop in the Philippines, and a quick stop in Rio with the layovers. But at every stop, you could almost argue that I should do this as three separate highlights because, well, Victor, don't give me a reason to put you in timeout because every stop brought with it a highlight, brought with it a new perspective on Freemasonry, a new group of brothers that I met. I don't know what the rumors are, Jordan, but I can say the rumors that I've seen online are not correct. There's a lot of rumors out there that are full of nonsense. I'll start with my trip to the first part, which was Chicago. I've said it a million times. I've said it a million more. Chicago is, I think, the best city in the world, certainly in North America. I love it. I've been there dozens of times. Arriving there, I got to, first of all, check out all the things in Chicago I love. The Chicago Bean, if you know that, the Cloud Gate. take the L train, take the Metra, Millennium Park, the Loop. I enjoy all of that very much. But then I also had the pleasure of visiting Morton Grove Lodge number 1146 on its 99th installation rites ceremony. I've got pictures of all these things, by the way, up on social media. Follow me on Facebook to find them all. Morton Grove is an incredible Masonic lodge. It really is growing very, very well. It's in a beautiful building, the Glenview Masonic Temple, and I've got a ton of friends through Morton Grove. Whenever I'm in Chicago and they have a meeting, they feed me, they treat me well. This was especially wonderful, though, because it was the 99th installation rites. Installations are a yearly event within Freemasonry where basically what you are doing is you are installing or investing your officers for the year. So those officers who are going to be responsible for the lodge or different aspects of the lodge, be it as worshipful master, where you kind of are the CEO, through to the person responsible for ensuring there's refreshments, through to treasurer, who's responsible for the bank account, the secretary, who's responsible for correspondence, and everywhere in between. All right, nobody's going to be dying and nobody's going to be dying young. Soviet Union, Victor, be careful. Both just focus on talking to me. How about? The installation is absolutely an incredibly important part of the lodge and what it means to be part of the lodge. And going to the 99th anniversary was especially wonderful. Next year, I guess 2026 will be its 100th anniversary, which will be even more fun, and I hope to attend that one as well. I will say, not only did they have an insane spread of food, like it was absolutely incredible to see how much food they had. They had a photo booth, they had karaoke, they had they had 2 photo booths with a Masonic backdrop. They had professional photographers. It was really incredible to see. I've actually put a picture of it up on social media, so you can find the picture there if you want to check it out. So Morton Grove Lodge number 1146. So that was the first Masonic event on my trip around the world on June 8th, but it was not my last. I also received a beautiful, actually, hold on just 1 second. Let me see if I can find it quickly to show off. I'm not going too far. I'll be coming back soon. I promise. Maybe. No. Let's see. All right. So I also received, while I was on this trip, some really awesome coins. These are all of my Masonic coins, by the way. But yes, Morton Grove number 1146. This beautiful coin. And I got to do a better job at displaying my stuff, by the way. Let's see if I can find it now. A really cool, oh, here it is, this thing as well, which is, let's see if I can do this well. Come on. Oh, jeez. A Morton Grove Frisbee. Whenever you're traveling, if you're a Mason and you're traveling, make sure you leave some special, like room in your luggage, room in your wallet, a package, like a container. Bring something with you that you can store your any Masonic gifts and tokens you receive. Because believe me, you are going to receive a lot of them if you do a lot of traveling. I mean, this bag is full of Masonic gifts. Um, I've got this bag full of coins from Freemasonry. I've got this, which is a Masonic uh, stocking. I've got just ignore that sound. I've got all of these pins. The point is, if you're traveling a lot for Freemasonry, you're going to be getting a whole bunch of special items. What you need to do is take the time to, have it like within my wallet, for example. I just wallet, my travel bag container thing. I have one special compartment that is exclusive for Masonic items. So any pins or coins I receive while I'm traveling, they go there. Anything bigger, I have a special compartment in my luggage where I put the bigger items. Because I don't want to lose anything that I'm given on these travels. Also, make sure that when you are traveling, if you have anything you can bring with you, you do. Bring gifts, bring pins, bring postcards, bring coins. Anything that your Masonic Lodge has, make sure you bring them with you. Because giving of gifts, it's a really important part of Masonic travel. Soviet Union, I wish you all the best. All right, so that was my travel. Also, I mentioned all the things Morton Grove had at its annual installation rite of officers. It also had an incredible giant cake that was delicious. So there's that as well. So that was June 8th. June 9th, I woke up, went to O'Hare Airport, which actually O'Hare has just been, I guess, announced as the busiest airport in the world, I guess, or at least in America, if I recall correctly. Let me double check that. I gotta say, I love O'Hare Airport. I think it's I love airports in general. I've always loved airports, liminal spaces, if you will, is what it's called. I love those. I love airports. I love liminal spaces. I think O'Hare, though, is a particularly good airport. I always find it's very easy to get around in. Yes, busiest airport in the United States is O'Hare. Even though it's the busiest airport, I never had any trouble getting around, traveling in it. Went to Chicago, took the plane, ended up in Incheon International Airport, Terminal 2 in Seoul, South Korea. One of the things that I most remember about it was grabbing a Coca-Cola, a can of Coke, and seeing all of the writing on the back of it. Not in English, but I guess it would be in Korean or South Korean. Um, we talk about what is a Masonic memento. Obviously, you will think about coins like these, right? You'll think about like a Masonic coin, and it absolutely is a Masonic memento, and I'm grateful for it. But anything that you pick up along the way on your travels to or for Freemasonry, that can also be a Masonic memento. Like, I really wish I had kept that can with the writing on it, with the South Korean writing on it. Because again, it's a reminder of part of my trip, seeing a new culture, a new language. Um, when you're traveling, your memories are your mementos. The pictures you take and share are your mementos. All of these things are your mementos within Freemasonry. Take pictures, enjoy it. Enjoy being immersed in a new culture. Even something like this. This is the um, bracelet I got when I was traveling in Bogota, Colombia for my hostel. It's not a Masonic, but it is because I stayed at the hostel. I went from the hostel to the Masonic meetings, went back to the hostel. It's part of the trip, it's part of the culture, it's part of the stew, the milieu, the pick your term that is my Masonic journey. It's why, for example, I always recommend when you're traveling, take public transit. Don't just take taxis and Ubers. You can take them, obviously, but take public transit. Eat at the local shops. Eat at a hot dog cart or a street food vendor. Um, do the touristy things, do the non-touristy things. As much as you can, try to immerse yourself where you are and in the culture of where you are. That's not just your responsibility as a traveler, that's your responsibility as a Freemason. Because you want to be part of the communities to which you're traveling and supportive of it economically and socially. And don't think that um, don't assume that I'm trying to think of the word. Don't assume that your mementos need to be exclusively what you get in a Masonic lodge. A Coke can written in a different language as part of your visit can be part of the can be a memento as well. Um, so, anyways, traveled from Chicago to Incheon Airport in South Korea, had my layover, um, got some food with and drink with South Korean or Korean written on the label. Really cool memory. Then arrived in beautiful Manila, Philippines. I arrived around 2 a.m. No issues going through customs. I've said it before, I'll mention it again. Um, we as Freemasons have a responsibility when we're traveling to represent Freemasonry well. What that also means is being aware of, knowledgeable of, and fulfilling in advance whatever requirements are necessary for, let's say, customs, right? I don't want to be showing up at customs and my passport is out of date, or I don't have the correct visa, or I don't have whatever the recommended vaccinations are, right? I don't want to be doing that. I think I have a responsibility as part of my travels to take the time, um, to take the time before to have everything, not just because it makes my life easier and protects me from potential legal or economic difficulties, but it makes it easier for the customs officers and agents as well. So, anyways, arrive in the Philippines at 2 a.m. Manila, in particular, I go through customs. I get to my Airbnb where I was staying, and one of the highlights again of this trip is the beautiful view I had of Manila. Now, I can't share my screen, but I am going to turn my camera around and show you guys the view I had, at least at night. Hold on just one sec. That is the view from my Airbnb at night. Manila was a beautiful town, a packed town. It was so condensed, like so many people there. Um, but it was really beautiful. While I was there, by the way, one of the best things about the Grand Lodge's electronic voting system is I could be in Manila, Philippines, and still register to vote and then vote electronically for Grand Lodge officers. So that's kind of a highlight as well, just what technology allows us to do in 2025. The way technology allows us to travel around the world and yet remain in contact with our Grand Lodges. Woke up, took another picture of Manila, Philippines during the day, and then started to visit the various Grand Lodges. I visited the most worshipful Grand Lodge of the Philippines, an absolutely stunning and beautiful building. One of my highlights for sure. being there to check out that building. I also got to check out the Rizal Masonic Temple, Jose Rizal. Jose Rizal is well known as one of the founding fathers, or maybe the founding fathers of the Philippines, and he was himself a Mason also. So I got to visit two Masonic buildings while I was there. And then I got to visit on June 12th the Philippines Independence Day. To honor that day on June 12th, Freemasons gather at the Jose Rizal Memorial to honor Jose Rizal, the man and the Freemason. And you can see, once again, that's the monument. You can see both Grand Lodges left their wreaths with the square and compasses on them. Just being in the Philippines for its Independence Day was incredible. Seeing the military parade, the community parade, all the individuals, and it was such a beautiful, beautiful city. Um, I think the lessons that I took from this, it was a lesson I already knew, but in some ways it was a very valuable reminder. Um, just how important Freemasonry is to countries around the world. Now, I do, in some cases, try to underemphasize, or not under, but I do feel in some ways the importance of Freemasonry by conspiracy theorists certainly has been overemphasized. Yes, Freemasonry was important for many different countries and communities in their development and growth, but it was not the most important factor. It was one of many factors. Some of those factors were religious, some economic, some social. Freemasonry was simply one of many kind of influences. Um, but that doesn't mean it wasn't an important influence and didn't matter in many different places, whether it was George Washington being a Mason and the first president of the United States, whether it be John A. Macdonald being the first prime minister of Canada and a Freemason, or whether it be in the Philippines, Jose Rizal being kind of a founding father and a Freemason. Um, and so just getting the chance to see that beautiful monument and to see the Masons showing respect. Harmony of the Voice, welcome. I agree. Thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. And also, just a reminder how easy it can be if you're looking for it to find Freemasons. Because not every Mason I met while I was in the Philippines I had spoken to in advance, but I knew where the monument was. I knew a couple Masons to look for. And from there, I was able to just find and connect with several others. And again, it was a reminder and another lesson in hospitality. These Masons that I met, they brought me to their buildings, their lodges, they fed me, they gave me pop, they gave me a sandwich. They talked to me about their building, they showed me around, they gave me a ride to where I needed to go. It's just a reminder that within Freemasonry, you can almost always find a brother, a friend, someone to support you and help you, to give you a meal, to give you a ride. You have to be careful that they're legitimate Masons, but, I think that was a lesson that reminded me there, that I was reminded of. Could not have asked for a more hospitable brethren and more enjoyable time in Manila. That is 100% the case. I got a bunch of pictures of my trip to Manila. Once again, please take a moment to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and follow me on Instagram. Instagram.com/@square_and_compass_promotions. Then, I've talked about this a million times, I flew from Manila, Philippines, through to Rio de Janeiro. There was a stopover in Dubai. And at the stopover in Dubai, I stayed at the Dubai International Airport Hotel. I've said it a million times, but I'm going to show the picture. That is an arrow that was in on the ceiling of the international airport where I stayed, pointing towards Mecca. And that really was for me a Masonic highlight. You're in a brand new country and you realize not only are you in a brand new country, you're in a brand new culture. You're in a brand new world in some cases. Um, you're seeing something you don't see on. I've never seen an arrow painted on a ceiling that points toward Mecca in any other hotel. It's just a reminder I'm in a new place, and the opportunities Freemasonry affords you to travel if you're dedicated to it. And also, again, the reason I got to do all of this is because before I got there, I paid attention to my travel arrangements. Got set up with Emirates, the Dubai layover. I had my passport up to date. I knew what the visa requirements were to be from Canada going to Dubai. If I had that stuff not on point, I might have spent all my times dealing with customs and not got the chance to stay in the hotel. Um, Thank you, James Dolan. That is incredibly kind of you. I greatly appreciate it. Um, I hope you're having an excellent holiday season. Um, so pointing towards Mecca. Then I made it from Dubai into Rio de Janeiro. Once again, had all my documents, had my visa, had whatever I needed to get there and be set. Um, the highlight of Rio, there's a couple highlights of my trip to Rio. So I was in Rio de Janeiro for the 90th anniversary of the Grand Lodge of South America Northern Division. South America Northern Division, SAND, Grand Lodge Sand. They were celebrating their 90th anniversary of their formation with a meal and with a banquet and with a special celebration. So it was really incredible. I've said it before, so excuse me for chewing my food twice. The greatest meal I ever had in the history of my Masonic meals, and there's been hundreds of them at this point, was absolutely the meal I had in Rio de Janeiro. They had this delicious pork, these delicious potatoes, this wonderful pasta. I'll never forget that meal. That was a highlight in and of itself. And again, getting to go there for free, getting fed by my brothers, getting a ride from the Masonic meeting to the banquet hall, which was at um, the Commonwealth League or Commonwealth Building in Rio. Then getting a ride or being able to get a ride to my Airbnb. It was really incredible, and Rio's a beautiful, beautiful country. City in the beautiful country of Brazil. I also remember at the ceiling of the Palacio Masonico do Lavredo. I can't speak Spanish or Portuguese to save my life. Not only was one of the highlights the beautiful ceiling and the beautiful roof um, in the Masonic building with a bunch of stars on the ceiling. Let me see if I can't show you guys. That's the ceiling, that's the roof. Ceiling, I should say, of the Masonic Lodge Room in Rio. Um, it was absolutely gorgeous to see. It reminded me of one of my favorite songs, Blue Rodeo. Strange and beautiful are the stars tonight that dance above your head. It's called Palacio Masonico, and it truly is a palace, and those stars were truly beautiful. And then, as always, another highlight, um, getting the chance to listen to Masonic ritual in a different language, in this case, Portuguese. I've always suggested that we within Freemasonry are well served. Um, um, are well served by we are well served by taking the time to hear our Masonic ritual in multiple languages, in different languages, it brings to mind the universality of the craft and how important the craft is um, for Freemasonry. Like the fact that I can hear Masonic ritual in Portuguese, I can hear Masonic ritual in Spanish, and even though I don't understand a single word that's being said, I understand, every word that's being said. So, or at least the heart of it. So that's something I really, really love and really, really enjoy. Megan, I did not sacrifice my legs because of Freemasonry. I was born without legs. I was born missing them. Megan, if you think that that's what happened to me, you are not the smartest person in the world. You actually would be quite stupid if that's what you think. Um, all right, Soviet Union. Let's just put you in a little bit of a timeout over here for a few minutes. Um, Well, Megan, if you want to send me the link, by all means, info@squareandcompass.ca. Um, but only stupid people would believe that. And Chris, if you believe that, you are also a stupid person. We're going to give it another couple minutes. So, all right, Chris, I'm going to put you in a bit of a timeout as well over here. So take the time I think my point is when it comes to these travels, again, another lesson I learned or was reminded of is the universality of the craft, the way that we can all within the craft and within Freemasonry. We have brothers everywhere. I have brothers in Chicago. I have brothers in the Philippines. I have brothers in Brazil, in Rio. And the fact that they will feed me, will show me around, will give me rides, it just reminds you of the universality of the craft. Hearing Masonic ritual in different languages reminds you of the universality of the craft as well. And seeing the beautiful buildings reminds you of not just the universality of the craft, but the universality of architecture within the craft. I got a ton of pictures, which again I shared on all of the different channels. Here's in Brazil, once again, the Palicio Monaco do Lavredo. Please forgive me, my Portuguese is horrible, I know. All original wood and oak, all from like the 20s. I got the chance to check out some of Brazil while I was there, some of the sites. Here's a beautiful lake. I got to check out Heart Rio. I got to get a passion fruit Snickers, which was really good. The point is, I got the pleasure and the wonder of visiting 5 countries: Chicago, South Korea, so America, South Korea, Philippines, UAE, Brazil. Whenever possible, I try to at least integrate somewhat into the city I was in to learn about it, to purchase items that I could bring back, to give gifts, to receive gifts, to enjoy the food, enjoy the brethren. And I think the 3 lessons I took from it was one, Freemasonry truly is everywhere. It's not the same everywhere, but it is everywhere. And because it is everywhere, you always have brothers when you're traveling. There's something really special about hearing Masonic ritual in a language that's not yours. You won't understand the words, but you'll understand the meaning. And the other thing is, Freemasonry has been important to the development of cultures, countries, and communities around the world, including but not limited to the Philippines and Brazil. There are many lodges in Israel. I don't know the exact number, but actually, Harmony, I'm a member of a lodge in Israel. I'm a member of Lodge Holy Land number 50 out of Tel Aviv. It is one of the lodges where it's an affiliate lodge, basically. So they accept members from around the world. The dues were $40 per year. I forget how much it cost to join, but yearly dues are 40 American per year. That's Lodge Holy Land number 50 out of Tel Aviv. There is no Masonic lodges in Abu Dhabi, but maybe one day. That doesn't mean there aren't Masons in Abu Dhabi. They may be traveling they may be traveling for business. They may be tourists. They may be visiting family. But it's not to say that there are no Masons in Abu Dhabi, but to my knowledge, there is no active Masonic lodges in Abu Dhabi. Maybe one day, though. Maybe one day. We'll see. I would love to visit Israel. It's on my list of places I'd like to go. I got a lot of places on my list for 2025. I'd love to visit, oh gosh, I would love to visit Japan, Israel. Hey, one of the best parts about traveling is the food, the cuisine. I assumed you meant brother tour, like Masonic brothers, but whenever I'm traveling, I love to visit. I love part of it is eating. So, like I said, the greatest Masonic meal I ever had was in Brazil. So I hope this has encouraged people again to consider traveling, and I hope some of these lessons about the universality of the craft is, reminded you guys of. And I also hope that, um, if you meet a Mason who is traveling, who is visiting your lodge from who knows where, somewhere around the world, remember brotherhood. Give him a ride somewhere, give him a gift, give him some food. Let him, show him the hospitality that he should be deserving of as a Freemason. You as well, Harmony. Don't forget, share this stream with others. Hit like, hit subscribe, etc., etc. And that is highlight number one. Now, I will be talking about other highlights tonight at 1 a.m., tomorrow at 1 p.m. again. But that's it for the main topics. Now we're back to just hanging out and chatting. So if you want to join and jump in the chat, let me know. Anything you want to talk about, positive, negative, or neutral, please let me know. I always have a great weekend, Harmony of the Voice. Chocolate, what is a Freemason in a nutshell? In a nutshell, a Freemason is a member of a Masonic lodge. And that's it. It's a membership thing. It's like saying what is a Freemason is like saying what is a member of Good Light Fitness. It's a member of a Good Light Fitness um, uh, gym, right? So a Freemason in a nutshell is a member of a Masonic lodge. More generally, though, it's a member of a club that evolved from stonemasonry guilds in the Middle Ages. So that is a Freemason. It's one of those things. It's really hard to talk about like Freemason in a nutshell. I try my best, and I hope I explain it well, but it can be a really hard thing to talk about. But to everybody watching this, we're just back to talking and hanging out and chatting. Anybody wants to jump on the stream and talk about Freemasonry? Any thoughts you have on it? Positive, negative, or neutral? I speak exclusively for myself. So jump in the chat and let me know what your thoughts are. We're going to give it a bit more time. We're going to wait to see who joins. Another highlight we're going to talk about tonight. And for now, let's just wait to see who jumps in the chat, who says hello. I'm probably going to start trying to share this stream again more on. I don't know if Red Bull is healthy for you. What I would say is everything is about moderation and not excess and talking to your doctor. My suspicion is there may be people who have some, and this is just a suspicion, who have health conditions, whatever it might be, who may not um, if you have, let's say, a heart condition, whatever it is, high blood pressure, caffeine may not be the best for you. I want to judge. I drink a ton of caffeine, but I can understand why it might not be the healthiest choice. And if you're addicted to the point where it's becoming a problem, maybe talk to somebody, try to cut back. I don't know. My cat is black and white, so she's a checkered cat. She's called Bandit because she's black and white, and it looks like she has like a mask on her face. Well, if I can find her, she's probably sleeping right now. We're just hanging out, waiting to see who joins. Please jump in the chat, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Well, it's not secret. If it was a secret carpet, I mean, it's a carpet. It's not a secret carpet. Black and white. It's an interesting connection. Yeah, I guess my cat is Masonic colors in some ways. It's kind of cool. You could argue that, I suppose. I mean, my cat knows all the Masonic secrets because, back when I would be studying and practicing regularly for Freemasonry, for our Masonic meetings, I would use my cat to practice with. So I'd recite my Masonic rituals to my cat. So Bandit at this point absolutely knows all of the Masonic rituals, probably better than a lot of Masons. If Bandit ever learned how to talk, we would be in trouble, that's for sure. Paul Lemons, you know five Freemasons, and they're all very nice and intelligent people. And handsome as well, don't forget. Freemasons are the handsomest people. That's good. I'm glad. Look, I've said it before. Freemasons, Freemasonry by definition, we're human beings, and that means we have all of the good and all of the negative qualities of being a human, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish we just had the good parts, but humans are humans. We sometimes are nice, we're sometimes mean, and everything in between. I think within Freemasonry, hopefully, if you are following the kind of Masonic philosophies, if you want to look at it that way, or the Masonic ideals, you will find that we are more often than not, we are trying to be good and, follow that Masonic rule of being a good man and true, as noted in the Anderson Constitutions. But that doesn't mean there aren't Freemasons who make mistakes, who fall off, who end up being not good people. That's just human nature, for better or worse. Well, I mean, they're not that secretive. They oftentimes wear coins or wear rings or whatever it might be. I mean, but if they're not wearing anything, you're not going to know. Really, the way to know is to go to a Masonic lodge and meet the Masons there and get to know them. We have private teachings, Max Ashton. I wouldn't use the term esoteric per se, but you could use that term. Another way to look at it is private, not even teachings, is private ceremonies, ought to be called modes of recognition, which you maintain out the privacy of, amongst other reasons, to maintain the bonds of brotherhoods between past, present, and future generations of Masons. I met them through my uncle. That's awesome. Very, very cool. All right. And by the way, Paul, I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. I hope that you will consider sharing the stream with others. It's been an excellent stream, an excellent day. Thank you so much. I was talking about my wonderful Masonic highlight, one of them, my trip around the world, basically around the entire world from Chicago to Toronto, with stop offs in South Korea, Philippines, Dubai, Brazil, and then back to Toronto, where I landed in Terminal 1. By the way, I will say, I mentioned O'Hare Airport and how much I love it, and I do. I also really love Pearson Airport. I've spent a lot of time in Pearson Airport over the years. I think it's a great airport. Again, I love airports in general, but Pearson, nothing but respect for it. Let's just give it a bit of time. Let's see who else joins. By the way, please don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know how you guys are doing. Maybe I will be able to, by the time the year is out, make it to 3,000 and 200 subs. Right now I'm at 3,140, so it'll be tough to get there, but we'll see. I should be able to get there very soon. Well, I don't think Freemasons are idle. I think most would say that, if anything, the problem is they don't have enough time on their hands. They're always busy with either Masonic commitments or familial commitments or anywhere in between. Um, they oftentimes don't have time for anything else. Mr. Fox, I know I have a big nose. I've grown to accept it. What you can do, though, is hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Um, and that would be incredibly helpful to the channel. And consider even doing a super chat. Well, if he's building houses for free, he's not necessarily a Freemason. He's a free space mason, not a Freemason, all one word. No, no, I mean, so somebody could be a Mason, and if they do work for free, it would be free, then a space, then Mason, like space in the typing, right? Because Mason is one word, would be one word, free would be the other. If they're a Freemason like me, they are a Freemason, all one word. Well, I mean, it can happen. As a general rule, Freemasons don't recruit, right? We don't want to get people to join. We want you to join of your own interest. Um, which is now he may be talking to you about why he loves Freemasonry or what it is about Freemasonry he loves or whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, you should be deciding to join yourself. I know I got good hair, thank God, because my dad is bald. But I heard that your hair comes from your maternal grandfather, and he had a full head of hair for a long time. So I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'm going to keep my hair. I'm very lucky to have decent hair genetics, especially because it means I can, defeat my father in the hair department. We're going to give it a bit more time. We're going to wait to see who joins. Please take a moment, if you are new to this stream, to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I hope you are doing well. We're here chatting about Freemasonry. I finished my main topic, which again was talking about one of my Masonic highlights, which was my trip around the world. Now I'm just hanging out and chatting, waiting to see who joins. Yes, Mr. Fox. That's now we're getting into who's on first territory. This is like the time the guy joined who was a Freemason and called himself, his name was Mason. That was kind of the joke that we had. Right, said Fred. I think I have good genetics just in life because I'm so handsome. I don't know what I can say other than you look at me and you look how handsome I am. Like, what can you say? I'm a handsome, handsome fellow. We're just hanging out, going to give it a little bit more time. Just wait to see who else joins. No specific topics. Now we're back to just chatting. I hope everybody had an excellent Christmas. I hope everybody had or will have an excellent new year as well. Let me know if you're doing anything for New Year's and if you have any New Year's resolutions, and let me know if you have any Masonic highlights as well. I'd love to hear them. And we're just going to hang out, wait to see who else jumps in the chat to say hello. I may be, oops, sorry about that. I may be actually sharing some of these streams on other channels, on Facebook, etc., etc. But this is just hang out and chat time. So thank you, Mr. Fox. I will take it. The most important thing is, because I got the large jaw, you should hit the like and subscribe button. I am, by the way, at 3,991 valid public watch hours as of December 21st, which means I am 9 hours away from getting over 4,000. I think I should get there tomorrow. And that's important because that means I'm able to monetize through either page ads or short feed ads. Or if you become a premium YouTube watcher, then you get paid for every watch as well. So I will take John Cena. John Cena is my favorite wrestler of all time. Let me rephrase. John Cena is my favorite sports entertainer of all time. Roman Reigns is my favorite professional wrestler of all time. And that's not a knock on either of them. I think they both have different skills. I think John Cena was ultimately the greatest sports entertainer of all time. And I think Roman Reigns has proven to be the greatest professional wrestler of all times. One day I'll talk about what that means, what the difference is. But for now, we're just hanging out. Well, Super Chat helps me out as well. If you can, and you're so interested, I hope you'll consider doing a Super Chat. Just 99 cents helps out big time on the stream. So please consider helping a brother out. Apparently I got a hole in my chin. Can't drink coffee without spilling it. Tom Honk. I do not know who Ramana Maharshi is. Sorry, I could not be of assistance. Is he a Freemason? Tom Honk, by the way, please hit like and subscribe. A real enlightened being. Was he Like, is he a philosopher? Was he part of the? What was he doing? We're just hanging out, what, chatting about Freemasonry? Let me know any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd also love to hear if you have any Masonic highlights from 2025. I was talking today about one of my Masonic highlights, the um, my trip around the world. Tonight at 1 a.m., I'm going to talk about another Masonic highlight. Normally, I don't do 1 a.m. streams on Fridays. I guess technically Saturday morning. But today I will, or at 1 a.m. I will, just because we did not do anything on Christmas Day, so I want to take the break, or not take the break, I should say. Do one more stream. So wait to see who joins. Let's give it a bit more time. Let's wait to see who joins. I'm just going to hang out here. Any thoughts on Freemasonry? Positive, negative, or neutral? Let me know. And we're just going to hang out for a bit longer, wait to see who joins. If anybody does, everyone's jump in the chat to say hello. Please do so. Ramana Maheshwari was an Indian spiritual teacher and sage known for his teachings on self-inquiry. Who am I? That's a really good question. I mean, what's interesting about that is you could argue that you could argue it's interesting. You could argue that Freemasonry tries to, in some ways, help people better understand who they are. Do you know if Ramana was a Freemason? I do not. There's no such thing as Illuminati money. I don't even know what that would mean. I accept super chats as a way to help turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. I do not know what Illuminati money would mean, though. There's no such. I mean, if somebody is a member of the Illuminati and wants to give me money, I wouldn't know unless they told me. But Illuminati doesn't really exist, at least not as a meaningful organization anymore. He taught that realizing the true self through direct awareness leads to liberation and is widely regarded as one of the great exponents of Advaita Vedanta. I don't know what that means. Well, okay. He taught that realizing the true self through direct awareness leads to liberation and is widely regarded as. So I think certainly if you have an understanding of who you are, define that as you will, then I think there's a certain liberation in that. I would think liberation may come more from a combination of understanding yourself and service to others, more so than perhaps anything else. All right, guys, it has been a very fun stream, but I think I'm going to end this one for now. I will be back on tomorrow or tonight at 1 a.m. I look forward to seeing you then. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to y'all soon. All right, bye.